Hey Rockstars, it's Amara. Today's video is a catch up on the Sexy Savvy Social Challenge called SSSVEDA. That little Q&A of catching up on hashtag SSSVEDA questions. Amy Schmidhauer has a website called Savvy Sexy Social, and she does a thing called hashtag SSSVEDA, which is a series of prompts to support VEDA in case you don't have ideas or you want to kind of be part of the community, and you can use that hashtag. And so I'm participating in that some, but as per usual, I'm kind of putting a crazy Amara adventure twist on it, and that particular one is that I'm just going to use these prompts as I see fit or when they match what I'm feeling like. I'm in Amsterdam right now in the place I'm staying. Yellow background, not new, but it is now the middle of the night, so it's maybe a different shade. Today's video is called Catching Up with hashtag SSSVEDA. This is Amy Schmidhauer's. Sorry, I'm currently in Amsterdam. I'm trying to like figure out how to accent that right. Amy Schmidhauer's series for VEDA. So let's catch up with some questions I haven't answered for you guys yet, so you can know more about me for VEDA today. Where is your favorite vacation spot? Honestly, one of my favorite vacation spots is Portland, Oregon, and that's because it's not because it's like the most like thrilling or exciting or different adventure, but I really, when it comes to vacation, that idea of really like calming down and being chill, for me Portland's a really good option because there's a lot to do that's new for me there, but it's also really comfortable for me because I'm from Oregon originally. Those of you that are from the States probably understand that each of the states feels a little different. You have your like sense of home court advantage or like sense of home, and for me Oregon definitely does that, and there's something kind of special to me about the land there. So getting to go to Portland, I get to have a city I never lived in Oregon, and it's a city and it's got like cool food trucks and neat culture, but I also get the opportunity to just be chill and hang out in a place that feels really comfortable. In terms of just straight up relaxing vacation, Portland, Oregon. With that said, everywhere is my favorite vacation spot. Like I was thinking a couple days ago how much I would never have expected, but I've had moments since I got here where I'm like, I kind of like this part of me that feels Dutch. Like I'm definitely not Dutch, but I have some Dutch ancestry, but this part of me that like feels kinship with a thing I've noticed about Dutch culture or a thing that I've observed, or kind of, I tend to find loving, wonderful moments in travel wherever I go, and that is what travel vacations feel like to me. So overly raw answer, there it is. That was the day 2 question, where's your favorite vacation spot? I did actually cover the day 3 question, who's your greatest mentor, so that one's covered. And I also covered the what is something you love about Mondays question, which was day 4. The day 5 question is tell me about your family or kids. I can tell you about how I was raised. I was raised as part of a kind of like a 3-person family on the one hand, and also a really big kind of multicultural family on the other. I was raised by my mother. My father passed when I was really young, and I was raised by my mother, and I have a younger brother. Kind of like a pretty close-knit group, so that's the way my family was raised. We worked that way. But when I was really young and right after my dad died, I was also partially raised by our neighbors who were Cambodian. So I really was raised in a very like East meets West way in the US. You know, there's kind of this like thing, people who study international culture, which I've done a lot of, will talk about like kind of like a rice versus potatoes worldview based on like common cuisine in these places in like, you know, the East and then in the West. And I was really raised with like one door where I was in a like more traditional Western house, and then another door where I was in a very like Eastern house. So I was really kind of raised on the road between cultures, which I love. It's made me become a person who loves traveling and feels comfortable learning to be comfortable in places. I don't have any kids, but I got a cat, and her name is Princess. We call her hashtag Seattle Cat Pesa all over the internet. 90% wonderful cuddle bug, and then about 10% snarky kind of B word. Little edgy, a lot of love. And beyond that, my family is kind of scattered, and I'm a person who has a lot of friends that they consider to be part of her family, and so I've moved a lot, so my concept of family is probably a little different than a lot of people. It's kind of all over time, space, locations, and it makes me really happy actually to have a world where I feel like a lot of people in my life I consider to be family that maybe by technical bloodline definition aren't. The day 11 question is which social media network do you love the most? YouTube is technically and is something I think of as a social media. So YouTube first. After that, it's like picking kids. I love social media. I probably a year ago would have said for sure Instagram because I love using Instagram. Since then I've started playing around with Snapchat a little bit and I love that. But what I really started enjoying in my life is Twitter. And I know some people think Twitter is like going away. People always have theories about which ones are going away. I've really started to find that Twitter is a great way to like interact with you, and it's also a really great way to figure things out and to share and tell stories in very small form. And so I really love that. It's like asking me, do you like being a writer or a photographer better? I like the way both of those things work in my life, and I like the way they work together, and that's exactly how I feel about social media in general. Although I also have a Facebook page, check that out below, and I'm enjoying kind of some of the new Facebook features, to be honest. Which one I like, it depends on the day. Oh, day 12 question is a great one. What kind of music or sound helps you get work done? Rhythm. Just in general, anything with a really good backbeat. For a little while, I worked in royalty accounting. I did a lot of Excel work. I had like one of those like ergonomic work balls. I would like listen to just pop music like with my headphones in. There are a lot of specific songs over time that have meant a lot to me. Music in general means a lot to me. But when I'm working and it's just for getting things done, often something that's like pretty poppy and has a pretty steady rhythm. If it's really like just grinding work or something I have to get done that I really don't want to, that's kind of a good way to go. I also when it comes to work, like to take a break and do a good stress relief, like sing along, dance along situation. I find that to be just incredibly cathartic for me. And it's also really good benchmarking for getting work done. Day 6 question is, how do you use your talent every day? Without sounding horrible, like which of my talents? There's so many, I don't know if I'd call them talents. There are so many things that I really love about the way I am. One of those things that I feel like I do exceptionally well is community building. And that's a talent, that's a skill I utilize on a daily basis. How do I use it every day? I introduce myself to people, I get to know people. I make sure to try and be as social with people as I can. The way that I probably the most utilize being a community member and like a kind of participant in global community is that I try to be a person who doesn't just think of others, but thinks of others in terms of like, if I meet someone and they're interested in something, is there someone I can connect them with? Is there some bridge I can build there? That's how I think of community, is like, I'm constantly like meeting wonderful people and building like bridges to make the foundation across all of us stronger. Kind of like that game where you pull the sticks, except instead of pulling the sticks, I'm just like building a nest. I like that part of community building where you're just really bringing people together. I use it all the time, all kinds of ways, weird ways. Often I'll talk to people and I'll be like, oh, hold on, I have a friend who does this, or like, I've heard of this business, or would this be something interesting I know that I could send you or help you with or do some consulting work with for you? Day 7 question, what comes to mind when you think of spring? That's really hard to think about now because I'm in the Netherlands and they advertise tulips like nobody's business. So I've got like tulips on the brain, but flowers in general. Really for me, the thing that defines spring is when like all the cloud cover kind of like starts to crack apart. Spring is a time where I get really energized for moving forward and for like freshness and infusing freshness into my projects. That's kind of what I think of when it comes to spring. Also the color palettes. I love spring color palettes. I love every season's color palettes. We've covered this, but the spring ones are kind of near and dear to my heart. I love all like the pastel direction, and I also love like the vibrant color direction. Day 8 question is, what is the most adventurous thing you've done? Adventurous is hard to define. I have done a lot of things that I'm proud of because I pushed myself. One of those things is like coming to Amsterdam here and just kind of showing up for VidCon and not really having a clue where I was staying or how I was going to get around or what the plan was in general. Or for me, the part that was the hardest about that was like, what if I can't build connections there? What if I'm not able to really enjoy the experience? The truth is, it's been one of the greatest experiences of my professional career. So all about that, like one of the greatest experiences of my professional and personal life. So I feel like I just kind of recently have started aiming at adventurous, but apparently people will tell me all the time that I've been like that kind of in general. My mother tells me a story sometimes about how I was a little girl and I went and like they had a karaoke and I just walked up to the mic and started singing. That was at like a state fair as a kid, and I sang like the Itsy Bitsy Spider as a child like a couple times. That's embarrassing, but sounds kind of like my heart. The most adventurous thing I do is listening to my heart's desire to try things and then try them. So that comes down to things like when I decided to attempt to go to LA and then managed to do it. The difference right now in my life is that for a long time I've had like inklings that I should do things and kind of shied down from them. And now, and since YouTube started and since we started doing lifestyle as an adventure, now I'm doing those things. So that the most adventurous thing in my life is actually tackling the possibilities that I think of, the ideas that I have, and like seeing if we can put them somewhere. That's the most adventurous thing I've done. I've never gone like skydiving. Probably will. Oh, and if you want something that's more tangible, one time I petted a white tiger on the face. There was a white tiger at a Renaissance fair in North Carolina. You could pay like 20 bucks to pet this tiger. It was pretty warm out and he was like tired, and I have a cat, so I was kind of like, oh, you're just real wiped, huh? So I went to pet this tiger kind of the way I would pet a cat, and I talked to him a little bit, and the handler was like, do you work with animals? And I was like, no, not really, but I have a special place in my heart for them. So how do you volunteer your time and give back? This is something I need to be doing more with. Some simple examples include, I am part of the Seattle Have a Heart Day team, and I've done that one time. I'm hoping to go back and start getting involved with them again. People think that you do volunteer work and you just kind of go and you do drudgery and you don't get anything out of it. That is not the truth. When you go and do volunteer work, you usually make friends and have experiences that humble you and make you like a better person. The Have a Heart Day team is one of the ways that I do that. I, for a number of years, was involved with an organization called Seattle Works, and I'm actually putting together a Seattle Works Day team that is hopefully going to consist, at least in large part, of YouTube creators. I'm going to be the team captain for that. Keep an eye on the various channels to see that happen. If you guys have suggestions for like volunteer opportunities and things you hear about, please let me know. I'm interested. And I know the Seattle YouTube community is interested in doing volunteer work in general. Interested in getting involved, doing good, internet for good. We're about that. So I've kind of caught up through the questions of hashtag SSSVEDA. Thank you so much for watching. XOXO Rockstars. This is Amara in Seattle Vlogs. If you guys are taking part in SSSVEDA, leave me a comment below. Or also, if you have answered any of the questions that I covered here, let me know some of this information about you guys. Let's learn about each other. I'm really curious to know more about who you are. Also, I watch YouTube videos. True story. Thought about it a number of times, getting one of those posters Tyler Oakley has that says something like, all I do is watch YouTube or something like that. He was giving them away once at Vlogger Fair, and I went out to get lunch during that time. I came back and there were none left. I was very sad. I was really sad because I really liked that poster and I had just learned who Tyler Oakley was. But best adventures, friends.